Välkomna till Stora Aktiedagen här i Stockholm idag den 25 november 2019. Mitt namn är Peter Malmström och jag kommer att leda den frågestund som kommer att ske efter presentationen utav Aspire Global. Jag lämnar ord och bild till Sami. Varsågod.
Thank you very much. I hope that 2-3 years from now I will be able to understand what you just presented. I'm speaking English, and the company that I'm representing, Aspire Global, went public here in Stockholm Stock Exchange. Aspire Global is in the gaming sector, and I didn't see a lot of companies presenting in this seminar that coming from the gaming, so I'm happy to be one of the few that presenting the gaming sector. So Aspire Global is a company that have a platform. We are a platform provider, meaning that any gaming company that want to be active, they need a platform. Some of the companies use their own platform, and some of the companies using third-party platform. So Aspire Global is one of those companies that others using our services in order to be active in gaming, not only in Sweden, but all around the world. So this is Aspire Global. It's a company that exists for around 14, 15 years already. And we have 220 employees spread in Ukraine, Malta, and Israel. So this is for Aspire Global. Until now, we grew organically our business. We have several business lines. In the recent weeks, we also acquired a company called Pariplay. There are some slides in the presentation to explain what does that mean, Pariplay, and why we acquired Pariplay, and what is our vision going forward. But in one sentence, Pariplay is a games company. So now Aspire Global as a group, we have a platform, additional services, but also games. So we are starting to be positioned with more and more areas in the value chain of gaming. So this is the products that we sell. We have our own platform. This is something that we built, very robust, and have more than 40 companies already active on this platform. We have a business line of games that we started to sell more and more now after we acquired Pariplay. And also in this platform, we have our own proprietary brand, Caramba, which means that it's our own brand that we are promoting himself to the end user. So we are not only a B2B company, we also have a proprietary brand where we promote also to the end users. So those are the products that we sell. If I'm taking you through to the performance, everything that you will see in the presentation is in euro. So I will take you to the numbers a little bit of Aspire Global. Again, everything is organically. Nothing that we acquired, even if it's Pariplay, is not in Q3 numbers. Everything is only organically. So we ended Q3 with 33 million in revenue, with an EBITDA of 5.2 million, a decrease compared to last year, 16% decrease, but you will see the reasoning afterwards. And the B2B ended with almost 30%, a little bit more than 30% increase compared to last year. So overall, when I'm taking the Aspire Global numbers and zoom in on our focus, which is the B2B businesses, we can see that the B2B revenue is now 63% of the overall income, and they are 82% of the overall profitability of the company. It means that we are continuing to focus on the B2B business side of things. When I'm comparing the first 9 months of Aspire Global compared to the 9 months of 2018, so we can see that we have very good KPIs. In the important one, of course, if it's in the revenue, almost 40% year over year. In the EBITDA, 19%. And of course, also the B2B EBITDA, 56%. And also at the end, the earning per share. So it's pretty nice performance for a company that almost most of you were not aware of, and I think the Swedish market also was not aware of. We are not active very much in the Swedish market. The majority of the income of the company comes from Europe, Nordic, west of Europe, but not outside of Europe. When we zoom in a little bit on the business lines that we have, B2C and B2B, so I will start with the B2B. So we can see the development of the revenues and the EBITDA. As I said before, the revenue alone almost 23 million euro, and the EBITDA was 4.3 in the quarter. When I'm zooming in on Caramba, which is our proprietary brand, so we can see that it's a little bit challenged, and there are some reasoning for those challenges. Caramba is active in some markets where there are some regulatory changes right now, if it's in Sweden, also Norway, the UK. So as the history taught us in the gaming, when there is new regulations in the market, so it's a little bit shaky, but after a while, after a few months, a year, everything is going back to growth because of a lot of amendments that needs to be done. So also Caramba is being challenged, but we are confident that they will come back to growth also in the near future. When I'm taking the rolling 12 months of the company, meaning that every month, every bar that you see here, I'm comparing it, I'm taking the full 12 months before, so you can see the development. So we ended the Q3 with an overall 130 million euro in revenues and 24 million in EBITDA. Some of you that follow Aspire Global, when we went public in 2017, we mentioned that our targets for 2020, will be to meet 120 million euro. So we can see that we are a year before 2019, and we are already on 130. So it means that we are developing faster than we expected before going public. The company is a cash generation business. Just in the last quarter, we generated 4.8 million euro from the operation. Currently, Aspire Global have around 43 million euro in cash, and available for M&As, it's 36 million. So this is something that even from the 43 and the 36, it's after acquiring Pariplay. So it means that we still have a lot of cash in order to continue and acquire companies in the future, and this is our aim, to acquire more companies. This is a slide to explain a little bit about the different type of expenses that we have. So it's, for example, the administrative expenses, 10% compared to last year. It means that the company is pretty scalable. We don't need to recruit much more people in order to sustain the growth of the company. When we see here the 62% compared to 68% in distribution expenses, it means that we are sharing more of our income with our partners. It means that we give them more incentive, and we believe that this will trigger a further growth in the future for Aspire Global. So this is a slide to have some topics of the different assets that we have in the company. But the main thing to remember from this slide is that the retained earnings in the company represent 48% of the total assets. The company is very profitable from day one. We distributed until now around 80 million euro in dividends throughout the years. So we are keeping the growth. we are able to invest more in the company and also distribute dividends. And we did until now, every year, we distributed the dividends to our shareholders. So a little bit about the company that we acquired. So before zooming into Pariplay, just to explain about Aspire Global. So we have a platform. And we know that in the gaming sector, I don't know how many of you are invested in the gaming sector, but in the gaming, you are invested. Good. So in gaming, there are different types of companies. There are platforms, there are operators that want to actually and to activate the brand to the players. There are games companies like NetEnt or Evolution. There are payments companies like Trustly and others. So there are a lot of elements that combine the value chain of gaming. So Aspire already holds the platform. Platform is one of the most crucial one because all the transactions is being held on the platform. So we have a platform. We are now expanding ourselves to games. This is why we acquired Pariplay. We will expand ourselves also to sport in the future. We will acquire probably a sport platform. So we will have at the end of the way, we will have those elements in the value chain owned by Aspire Global. So we will be able to have a better pricing, a more attractive model to those operators and to be more attractive in regulated markets. So at the end of the way, we will be able to have a one-stop shop to companies that want to have the best of all with the best pricing. This is where the vision of Aspire goes. So I will zoom in on Pariplay. It's a company that we acquired a few weeks ago, games company with 13 million euro cash, 100% ownership. It's a company that has 70 employees in Sofia, Bulgaria, and India. When we go a little bit, what are the type of customers that Pariplay have? So they have tier 1 customers. If you know 888, William Hill, Svenska Spel, for sure you know, GVC, one of the biggest operators in the world. So Pariplay themselves have 60 games that they developed, and they develop 2 games per month. And they have an access, which is this is something very unique. They don't have only their own games. They have an access to a lot of providers out there. So an operator, when he's integrating to Pariplay, is receiving not only Pariplay games, he's receiving Evolution, he's receiving NetEnt, Play and Go, all of those games. So it's also the efficiency of having everything in one place. Just to have everybody on the same page, this topic called aggregation, and there may be 10 companies in the world that are acting as an aggregator. So we bought one of the leading one in the aggregation vertical. This is just an example of the Pariplay content in Svenska Spel. So if you will go to Svenska Spel and you will look for the Pariplay games, you will see them. Some of them were in the very first page for a very long time. And you can see that we are producing 2 games per month. Just to compare to other big companies out there that you know, if it's NetEnt or others, they have more than 500-600 employees working for them, and they are developing 2, 3, 4 games. We have around 70, and we are able to produce those 2, 3 games per month. So it means that the technology that this company is working on is very advanced, and we are very proud of this acquisition. Pariplay is not only a strategic acquisition for Aspire Global business, but also going forward to new markets that right now Aspire Global is not active. So just 3 weeks ago, we announced that Pariplay signed 888 in order to provide the games in the US market. And as you know, the US market is huge. Just again, to put everyone on the same page, currently there is only one aggregator that have an access to the US, which is Pariplay, and not a lot of games providers have a license to work in the US. So we're happy to do it faster than others. By acquiring Pariplay, it provides Aspire Global Group, which is not only a company now, it's a group of companies, and access to more jurisdictions that we were not active before. And Pariplay have licenses in the US, in Romania, and Gibraltar, places that Aspire were not there before, so it's also assisting us expanding our presence in more jurisdictions. These are their numbers. Almost 3 million euro in revenues in Q3, 600,000 in EBITDA. And when we take the first 9 months of 2019, so it's a little bit more than 7 million in revenues and 1.2 million EBITDA. Sustainability. So the company is one of the fewest gaming companies, and we are proud of it, that succeeded having a committee of sustainability. We announced it in the previous report. We have some plans and some focus areas where we are building our plans around the sustainability. If it's in the responsible gaming, compliance, corporate governance, and the reporting, we have a plan. We are meeting from time to time in order to see that we are on track with this plan, and we are sharing it on an annual basis. Where is the situation and the status moving forward? So this is something that also in the core of the board of Aspire Global. By the way, I didn't present the board. Usually we have a slide showing who is the board of the company. The board of the company is built by 2 original shareholders that are still with us. Nobody from the original shareholders left from 14, 15 years ago. So we have 2 from the original shareholders. We have myself, and we have 2 that are from the gaming. If Fredrik Borvali is here, he was the CEO of Cherry Group before for some time and did all the acquisitions there and took the company from 50 million value to more than 700. So Fredrik is also advising me and in the board. We have Carl Klingberg, which is the chairman of the company, also acting as a chairman of another public company. So we have this experience in the board to take the company forward. Business-wise, so we have some focus areas for Aspire Global. First, we are going to integrate and to launch also the bingo vertical. Right now, we are offering casino and sport, and we will offer also bingo pretty soon in Q1 2020. We have Pariplay that we acquired, and now in this quarter, we are integrating them technologically to Aspire system. So the synergies moving forward, we will see them throughout 2020 because we will launch more and more games from Pariplay and not from outside. So we will cost save and also have revenues going up from Pariplay. We're going to launch Sportbook in Denmark, and we are continuing to look for great M&A opportunities out there. We have the cash, and we want to take advantage of the challenges in the gaming sector in order to acquire companies in a good pricing that we can do it in those days. 2 more slides, not more than that. 1, so currently Aspire Global with the platform, we are serving our platform to those small, medium size operators. We want to take this platform to the next phase, and we are recruiting a VP sales soon in order to attract and to move forward also to big operators out there that maybe want a good platform that already certified and operate in several jurisdictions. So this slide is just representing the fact that we are moving, but we are not shifting. We are just expanding to this market of the big operators out there, and we hope that we will succeed showing them the advantage of having this robust platform active in a lot of markets. We are doing so by breaking up the platform to be a plug and play service oriented. So this is some of the advantages that we are able to do in our own platform. And sorry, this is the last one. Sorry. These are the targets of Aspire Global. We extended the targets after we saw that we are meeting them pretty fast. So we took on our shoulders a little bit higher targets. And for 2021, we aim to be on 200 million revenues. I remind you that currently we are on 130 million going back. So 200 million in revenue and 32 million in EBITDA. That's all.
Tack så mycket. Please come over. Very interesting. You've done a lot, but there is still a lot to be done. Yeah. Are there any questions from anyone here in the audience? Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah. I happen to be a shareholder of you, and it's the first time I meet you. Are you on PlayStation 4?
PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
No. In PlayStation 4, it's mainly on the gaming sector, and we are in the real money, in gambling. So we are, yes, so we are not approaching the PlayStation world.
Okay. So I have 5 grandsons that are gamers.
Yeah, it's not.
So that's why I'm also in evolution.
Repeat the question.
Okay, so then I understand better.
So if I will repeat your question, you asked if we are active in the PlayStation and the gamification industry. So no, we are in the real money, and we are not active in those consoles. Exactly.
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
You said you had a sportsbook platform as well. Any operators on that platform?
Repeat the question.
So you're asking if we have our own sport platform and if we have active operators already. So currently Aspire Global is using a third-party sport platform. We have operators working on this platform, on our sport solution, but it's not owned by Aspire. As part of our expanding and grabbing more and more companies in the value chain, one of our focus areas is to acquire a sport platform, so then we will be able to compete also with those sport companies out there. So currently we are using a third party, but I hope not for long.
Okay. Any other questions? Then I take the opportunity to ask you, lots of things have happened as you've described here, but where do you see the company Aspire in, let's say, 3 to 4 years' time ahead?
So we understand that the landscape of regulation is not as easy as it seems before the regulation starts. We see it in Sweden and in some other markets. So we evaluated how to approach the regulated markets better in 3-4 years from now.
Okay.
So we see what is happening right now. We understand that there will be challenges on the way right now with all the regulated markets, but we want to be ready once those regulated markets will be established. So this is why we want to acquire companies, we want to strengthen our technology, we want to improve our offering to operators and to come up stronger to the new future with regulated markets. Regulated markets are pretty heavy in cost to operators, and we want to be able to serve them 3-4 years from now. So right now, even if there are challenges, this company is not a startup.
No.
We didn't start our business 2-3 years ago.
No.
So we all the time look for the long term. And even if there will be challenges, we know exactly where we want to be.
Okay. You're talking about regulated markets. Are there, if you have 10 regulated markets, are they equally regulated, or some ahead and some are very much behind? So there is a time scale in those 10 markets that I made as an example.
It's a very good question, because companies, when they have their own platform or where they want to operate in gaming, they think that to adjust the platform to a regulated market is easy, maybe 2-3 months of working on the platform. But it's much more complex, and each regulated market have its own vision, its own agenda. So the platform needs to be ready for this market, for this market, for this market. And this is why we believe that in the future, only companies that have a platform that's certified to a lot of regulated markets will be able to succeed, because it's very heavy technologically to sustain and maintain those platforms. So only the strong companies will succeed.
Will succeed, yeah. Okay. Questions from you here? Yes, please go ahead. Can you repeat?
If I understand the question, you are asking how can we assess the players that are playing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So your question is how the turnover looks like and how we built it up. So it's a good question to understand the methods of gaming once there are not a lot of transactions being done, so the performance of a company can be very volatile. One player can take it up, one player can take it down, so it's very volatile. But as long as the company is bigger and bigger, so those fluctuations are hidden in the overall transactions, because there is an overall payout, RTP it's called, a payout, which in the eternity mathematics, it's stable. So as long as we have more transactions, it is more and more stable. If I answered your question.
Okay, I have one more question. You said that you are in the process of looking into acquiring other companies. What type would that be? Those companies that you have pinpointed in order to acquire? And where are they located? All over the world, or in Europe, in Asia, or in the US, or? Short answer.
Currently, we are evaluating sport companies, because we understand that sport is the biggest vertical in the gaming. And we are not looking to Asia. We are looking to the bread and butter of where Aspire Global is active, and then we will expand. We don't want to rush into things that we are not strong at right now.
Okay, very good. Anyone who would like to pose a final question here? Yes, we have. Please go ahead. Repeat.
If you're asking about the US market, if I'm addressing it as one market or several states. So in the US market, it's a license per state. But there is a general multi-jurisdictional license that allow you to enter faster to more and more states. So yes, when I'm talking about the US, it's a build-up of several states and not one market.
Okay, thank you very much for coming here.
Thank
you will
very
be
much.
available outside at the company corner for further questions.
Thank
you very much.